Welcome back to AS, Anderson Street, where today we're discussing sexual boundaries, assault, harassment. What are they? Is it relative? Is it not? Ba, ba, ba. Unexpected table, nothing like producing content, so that's exciting. And in addition to that, no, this isn't safe for work. There are some graphic stories in here, so figure that out. You know what I'm saying, just giving you a little forewarning. And if you haven't figured out by now, we like to, by we I mean I, like to prompt you with a few food for thoughts, if you will. So here they are. Answer in the comments. And as an aside, no hate, no shade, and no trolling. You will be deleted. Okay, so thought. Should the age of consent be overseen by the nation, federally, or state by state? Some states it's 16, some it's 13, etc. Also, just thinking of the hard and fast lines of what is and isn't harassment and what is and isn't assault. Who makes these decisions? HR? You as an individual? Your parents telling you how to do this? Like, let's get that going. Let's bring that to the table. You know what I'm saying? And then lastly, for my men out here, feel free to, this is safe space, make it safe, a time where you truly didn't know the line. Let us know. And otherwise, find enjoyment in this episode, or at least provocation. Can you give us a story?
Man.
I mean, that was beat around the bush situation.
Yeah. So I mean, there's like times you can be at the bar and there's just a girl that will follow you around, you know, and then like
follow you around
the bar and like follow you out the bar and follow you towards your room, you know. And
oh, really?
You know, sometimes
because you're an athlete and they think you're about to go into the draft and you're about to be in the NFL.
For sure.
Oh, is that so?
That's
so
a whole
the
other aspect of it.
Is...
Yeah, so there's like that aspect of it, and then there's also the aspect of like having teammates that are you like take advantage of that and say like, oh well, I have these people that are all over me, and then there comes a situation where there's someone that's, you know, that likes them but might not want to be moving as fast as they move, but they might feel entitled to it, and it definitely gets to be a sticky situation when trying to navigate it.
So what happens is, just what I'm thinking is that you yourself have to have some character about
Absolutely,
you, and so it's you who says, yeah, I can tap this, or I can keep on going.
Yeah, exactly.
LOL. Yeah. Okay. I see you knowing what's up.
How old is your son then?
My son is 2 years old. He's a 2-year-old.
Just one kid.
I have a son at 2, and then I have a daughter who's 3.5, gonna be 4 soon.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful daughter.
Yes, your son is the spitting image of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is your son.
I met him, didn't I?
He's
We met both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You guys saw. Yeah, you saw. I live in Union City, not too far away. Yeah, right above the cliff.
We're from
up there.
Hackensack. We went to high school together.
And college.
Yeah.
And
we're the homies. And we're about to be in Jamaica together next week.
High school and college.
Oh, Mills.
High school and college.
Brandon's wedding.
I know.
That'll also be so much fun. Excited.
Yes, with the boy. He was with Mills yesterday.
Homecoming.
Anyway, see, this is happening. Oh my god. LOL.
What is your job?
Bob.
Oh, okay.
Can't you see? I'm very busy.
But has that ever happened to you, specifically? A girl coming
Yeah,
for
like
you?
being very like trying to push herself.
Where then you had to be like.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Like, look, I'm not interested. Like, just leave me alone. And there's times where like, hey, I'm interested. Like, yeah, let's hang out. You know, it's gone both ways, but never crossing the line. And I think when you're an athlete on a college campus and you can be sort of put on a pedestal, you tend to take advantage. But I don't want to say it's more so than anyone else, any other group population of people. Yeah, because I think you're just as fast as an athlete to take advantage of what you have as sometimes any man.
I would think athletes, musicians,
people that have followings.
Yeah.
People that have groupie type.
Yeah.
Johns.
It's easy to get a sense of entitlement that, you know, hey.
And usually it's for the girl. I'm thinking that check, tick, got
Right.
this one,
Yeah.
got this
Yep.
one, got this one.
Yeah.
You know, they actually, you know, I would think like kind of groupies or
Yeah.
yeah. Am I?
No, they
kinda
yeah
hitting
for
that.
no, they exist for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we have several friends that are professional athletes that had long lines of a queue of women that were like, I can't wait till I'm next. I want to be tried.
Yeah.
I want to put on this
Yeah. Yeah.
tattoo.
You know, so it's a difficult
I don't
situation.
know why I didn't even think of that.
Don't you think it's a difficult situation that people on both sides of the fence are put on? Like you, a professional athlete, well, you know, a college athlete, and you know, you're trying to get on with your life, but you're also male, and you're also virile, and you know, young and athletic,
Ready to rock.
and ready to rock.
Ready to go. We see where you're heading.
But you have to be so careful.
Absolutely.
You have to be so careful because, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I just read a thing the other day in the newspaper about, I don't know, some famous person and his third grade teacher called like the Hollywood press or the Hollywood to put it across that he ate glue when he was in the third. And I said to my
goodness.
husband, who didn't eat glue when they were in the
Right.
third grade? I mean, you know,
Me.
did you,
You know, I was a good kid.
Not third grade, definitely second
Yeah,
grade.
maybe.
second
Yeah,
grade,
second
okay,
grade for sure.
okay.
Not third
But I
grade.
think my point is it's come to a situation.
When is the point that too much time has gone by before we start bringing up stuff from the past that someone put upon us?
Exactly. You have somebody who's now 35, 40 years old. You're going to talk about him eating glue when he was in the third
Yeah.
grade?
Yeah.
So what happens? As soon as you come out of the hopper, you better be on the mark. You better not make a mistake,
Yeah.
or everything's just going to, your whole life is just going to tumble apart.
Right.
At the same time, though, some things are unforgivable, and
Yep.
no matter
Yes.
how long ago
Yeah, no
you've
time
raped
limit.
somebody or sexually assaulted
time
someone,
limit.
if they want to report it 30 years later, 50 years later, they have a right to. They have a right
Does
to
it have to
sue.
be
Yeah.
filmed on TV?
The entire reporting of it? I don't think so. But hey, when it comes to something as important as a Supreme Court justice, I would say it's something that should be pretty public.
Something should be mentioned.
You agree?
I do agree. And
Alright.
I think it's a shame what happened last week because I was appalled at the way he spoke in front of this. I was total. I watched every moment of it, and he was arrogant. He was upset. He was arrogant, and
Wouldn't anybody be upset?
well, you know what? He is going to be, or he now is, one of the most important positions of the United States government, the justice. And you know what? You have to keep yourself composed.
That's true. At this point, he's been doing it a long time
That's
for him to
deep.
know how to
That
do
is
that.
true.
Thank you very much.
That's the number one quality of a justice. You want him to be nonpartisan and composed and be able to sit and just think about what he's doing. And obviously, he
Yeah.
showed
What a
that,
great answer,
yeah, he has.
Mr.
Bob's
Attorney.
about it.
Mr. Attorney.
Mr. Attorney.
He obviously doesn't
All
have
right.
what it takes to shape the laws of our country.
Oh.
But here he is.
But here he is. But then again, there have been so many people who shouldn't be put into places, but they have.
Yeah.
And we don't know how many people that
The
are just
problem-
like him
the
that are
problem
already in
right-
there.
The problem right now is he is that deciding vote. That's what scares me. If he was just another person, you know, and he wasn't swaying the vote, I wouldn't have a problem, Mary Pat. But he is going to sway the decisions, probably.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he'll sway for the foreseeable because he's in his 50s. He got a whole lot of time
He
left.
has a lot of time.
I'll be dead.
Great. I'll be
Well.
here
Yeah.
with some, you know,
don't worry, you'll be in there.
procreated Johns.
Yeah.
But this
God.
apparently, you know, is in so many aspects of our lives. So I know you and I were speaking about this earlier. Of women have to think twice
About everything.
about what they're wearing, where they're going, who they're going with, how long they're going to be there, do they have a ride home? all for protection of themselves.
Right, because I don't know if you saw this post that was going around. I think it was on Facebook, but
The dryer. Someone trying to sell a washer machine or dryer.
oh no, I don't know who that is actually.
Oh, okay.
No, but along the same lines, I guess. But it was basically like someone posed the question, as a woman, what do you feel like you'd be able to do if I didn't have to contest with men around? And it went viral, and responses were like, I might run in the park at 9 p.m. I would walk home from the bar because I'm sober. I would not wait for my friends to get in their front door. And I ended up talking about this with some other guys, and they were like, these things didn't even cross my mind that you have to think about, that I do every day.
Yep.
And I thought that was a mad interesting thing to see, because
Absolutely.
we don't even like have to really anymore consciously think about those things that we're doing until it's posed. Like, what would you do if you
We're
didn't
so
have
used to it. We're so used to protecting ourselves along the lines. And it's unfortunate, don't you think, Bob, that even places where you should be safe, and you're not. Popping off the top of my head is church.
Whoa.
You should be safe.
Colt.
You should be safe there.
Unfortunately, may I just say,
Go ahead, jump in, Bob.
I am director of music at a church. I've been director of music, let me figure this out, 35, about 43 years.
Director of music.
In 3 different churches. And I had a priest that really, maybe I should go back for a second. My life is Denzel Washington's. I grew up in the projects, and I went to a boys club. Oh my God, I saw a piano. I was only 9 years old. I wanted to marry that piano.
Wow.
And I did.
Yeah.
7 hours a day I practiced. The guy who taught me piano was the owner of the club. He was a millionaire. NSF Jones, he's deceased. There are streets named after him in Jersey City. And God bless him. He taught me every day for free, for hours. Yeah.
Wow.
Every day for free. And he said, Bob, I can't teach you anymore after 3 years or so. And I started to cry. And he said, we're going to apply to the Boys Clubs of America for a scholarship. I got the scholarship and I went to Juilliard.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yes.
For 3.5 years.
Accomplished. Quite accomplished.
Pre-college division. While I was practicing, this little boy, this little 9 years old, 10 years old, I was sexually, not raped, not assaulted. It was consensual by a Spanish kid, much older than me, and we had sex for many, many years. I didn't know any better, Danny. I didn't know.
And how old were you when it started?
Probably 11. Never had any sign of manlyhood yet. And in fact, he said to me near the end of our sexual relationship, are you able to ejaculate? And I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. And while we were having sex, he performed the act. And but I have to be honest with you. And I was telling Mary Pat before, I never told anybody this. I wound up with a girl in college, and I loved her. So I guess for a while there I was bisexual. My question at 67 years old, I know I don't look it.
What? 67?
Is
Quite dashing.
would I have been gay, bisexual, if that didn't happen to me?
At 11.
At 11. Thank you, Mary Pat. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm not, it was something that happened. I welcomed it. I didn't reject it. But I do want to go into what you said before, the Catholic Church. Because I had a priest after me. Oh, my God. And God bless him. He came after me. He wanted me. And he would, what do you call that when they when they're in front of your building, they stalk
Stalk you?
Thank you.
Stalking.
That's what he was doing. But you know what? I was already an adult, so I was not going anywhere with that. But I was telling Mary Pat, we in the Catholic Church are forced to be going to go to these meetings protecting God's children. And you know what? It's not for us. It's the priest that did
That
this.
are protected.
It's the priest that did this. I was a personal acquaintance of Cardinal Theodore McCarrick. If you know anything about Theodore McCarrick, I worked across the street here.
Oh, at this church right here.
Yeah, right here. I worked in Kearney, and I know him well. He is the one that has been forced to resign by the Pope because of what he has done.
Over the course of years.
Oh my years! And guess what? Everything was
Hushed up.
Hush, 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 hush.
And you know what?
That business of the
Yeah,
Catholic
here's
Church.
the set, and you be careful, Danny, because you got a boy that looks like you. Watch out, because you know what? If your boy ever comes home to you and say, "Daddy, I don't want to be an altar boy anymore. I don't feel comfortable," you say,
I heard you.
"Oh."
There's got to be a reason why.
Because years ago, you know what they did? "Daddy, I don't want to be an old mommy. I don't want to be." They said, "Are you kidding me? You're just looking to get out of going to church on time. You get there." But there was a reason, and nobody
Would listen.
would listen, and nobody would believe.
Right.
Because it's basically a setup that's unnatural.
Absolutely.
It's an unnatural
Yes.
setup.
But yes,
Let the priest get married.
Listen
Let
to
them
me.
get married.
Listen to me. It was a haven for homosexuals. More importantly, it was a haven, and please do not get the two confused. There is no connection between a pedophile and a homosexual. But unfortunately, it was a place that both could live very, very comfortably. And you know what? That's where the problem, and the church is in big trouble. They know it.
Yeah, they're in trouble. That's it. Thank you.
Let's hope that
Oh,
God.
thank you. Are you all right? Thank you for sharing that story.
No, you know what? I needed to.
All right. You good?
I'm good.
All right. You want to hit the Boy Scouts now, or you good?
I don't know anything about the Boy Scouts.
That's all the world.
I love you.
No, but I know she's great. That's what's interesting about that is also I was on the. I don't know if I can say this, but the assault hotline where I had the night shift. Remember? And I would work during the day, and I would man the phone basically all night. I think it was from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. And I did that for 2 years. Remember, at home. Because I
Yes.
thought I wanted to go to school for social work, primarily to work with recovering trafficked victims, survivors. And the calls that I would get from women in their 70s, 80s, and 90s
Really?
from church stories or places of worship stories. We're trained, right? Like we're seriously trained on how to speak with people and use empowering words and so on. But at a certain point, I couldn't even handle that anymore because
It's very difficult work. It's very
because
difficult work.
that PTSD that arises in the middle of the night because they had a dream or I don't know. So it's very real. I of course it's very real. I mean, I'm not questioning anybody. I guess I wonder if a movement like we have today that's happening,
Like the Me Too, or
yeah, and so on.
unfortunately,
If some people take it just too far, like
Unfortunately, what happens is one of my brothers worked for a police agency, and he was on the sexual abuse department, whatever, and just said to me the other day after this whole situation on TV and everything Kavanaugh and all this. And he said, this is what I know. This is what I can tell you. He says, people who report sexual abuse in whatever form, 80% of it untrue. 80% of it.
Wow.
Yes, and that's exactly what I said.
Wait, you're saying 80% of what they report is not true?
80% of the people who report inaccurate, like your high school person who just makes it up. And
that seems pretty high. That seems.
And what happened?
Yeah, that seems like a very high stat.
But I've also seen stats that say like,
unless
out of all abuse that happens, only like 2% is actually false
and
accusations.
And also, what's the population of the stat?
I've seen there's one false allegation for like 160 real allegations.
Like that's what I've seen for sure.
Less than 1%.
So but
so
then you'd have to take in other accounts of. He said most sexual assaults or harassment or.
Yeah, it's a he said, she said.
Yeah. Only 2 people involved.
So
correct.
I could see like 80% of like sexual harassment claims, get, this person gets charged and convicted guilty. Like I could see something like that, but I don't see like, or 20% gets guilty, but I don't see 80% untrue.
But that's another question I have is like harassment.
But what constitutes sexual assault? What? How far? It's your perception, isn't it?
I do think that it is.
Like if I turned around and said, Bob, blah, 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 is this an assault? Hey, stop.
Wait,
was that an assault?
Wait, listen, I have to ask a question because it was on the news, but I missed it. Did anybody see something like yesterday where a white woman, accused a 9-year-old
with a backpack?
Oh yes.
Oh, Danny, help me.
Yeah, my goodness.
What was that story about?
And she was on film too, and they showed he like walked past her.
A backpack.
Brushed
And that's just one of many of little black children or black people getting called the police on them, like the barbecue.
How terrible was that?
The babysitter.
The babysitter. Oh, the babysitter.
But the backpack
grazed her.
Grazed her.
And
she.
Well, I don't know the story. I'm sorry.
Please tell
We were at a bodega.
Yeah, a Caucasian lady was at a bodega shopping, and a black kid of like 9 years old walked past her with a book bag, and I guess his book bag kind of grazed her. Not even hit her, like grazed her, and she called the police on to say he sexually assaulted her. Immediately. Like it's just ridiculous.
But then when you read into the story a little bit, it kind of says she's
mentally.
Oh, I didn't see that. I need to know that. Thank you.
Yeah, she does things in her.
So this actually brings up an interesting topic, and what I wanted to ask you from a position of being like an athlete in college, because it seems that somebody can always be the target of whether you're an athlete, whether you're running for the Supreme Court, whether you're a young African American child, and so there isn't any repercussion for a woman who lies.
You're bringing up a very good point.
Because she's mentally unstable, what happened? Wow. She got a don't do that again?
Well, again, I just read this story, you may have seen it, where these 4 girls in a high school, I'm thinking it was Tennessee, but I don't know for sure. And the one girl didn't particularly like this kid over here. I don't know, he had funny hair or spoke funny or whatever his situation was. So she turns around and says that he sexually assaulted her. Then she got her friend to back her up. He winds up getting, he had to go to the juvenile center for 9 days. It's like this kid's like 13 or something.
You can ruin somebody's life, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Then, while he's in there, is accused again by 2 other girls. They all turn out to be friends, the 4 of them. And they were like, sitting at home at night saying, let's do this, let's do this. The kid is now taken out of school because when he went to school, they would tape things on his back and pervert and this and that, throw stuff at him. And so now he winds up having these issues where he can't sleep, can't function, can't eat, can't go to school, has to be homeschooled. The 4 girls, scot-free.
Nothing.
I don't agree with that. And I think what happens is the more times people who falsely accuse, if their feet are held to the fire and they now have to go to jail, or they have to do something, whatever it is, punishment they have to do. Perhaps it would cut down a little bit on this because it seems to be quite out of control, doesn't it?
I agree. It should be punished way more than it is. Usually nothing happens. Maybe a small
Danny, can I
citation
ask you a
misdemeanor.
question? You're a young, beginning attorney, and it's just a guess on your part. Do you think that it's getting worse, or is it finally people are
Seeing what's always been.
I think it's just more prevalent in the fact that there's social media, there's access to all kinds of news
people
now.
speaking up now?
Speaking up,
So it's
everything
always
is
been.
filmed.
It's
It's always
always
been.
been.
Now
It's
the
always
cameras
been.
are rolling, basically.
Right.
Now the timelines are.
And if Harvey Weinstein, or whatever the hell his name is, gets off, God forgive,
Yeah.
please.
That is atrocious.
Well, that's a great point. We were talking about that the other day. Aziz
Oh.
Ansari. Or like, what
Oh,
about
yeah.
some of the guys that like, I don't know, are a little bit awkward and may not be good at this whole guy-girl thing, dating thing, and a girl's like, it wasn't consensual, or whatever. I don't even honestly know the story, but I know that.
With disease.
I don't know, but I feel like
I
I feel like that was a farce.
I just feel like if you can really afford the best lawyer in town, your chances are better.
Not dead. But true. No, but true.
But it's also a shame that if you can afford the greatest lawyer in town, you might get away scot-free and,
Yeah.
and be guilty.
There you go. There it
the
is.
Oh.
That's how it's been. I don't know
Yeah,
if we're
for
going to
sure.
change that, but
No.
I think change comes from. What do you think change comes from? Let me pause.
I think they're coming more to the light and people being held accountable. Unfortunately, we had an opportunity to hold Justice Kavanaugh accountable, but we didn't. So it feels like a step in the wrong direction. But the fact that there's so many people voicing their own encounters with sexual assault, sexual abuse, and voicing their support for it, it seems like you're going in the right direction.
This is my last statement because I thank Mary Pat.
You can have as many statements as you
But,
want.
but this is my real. I tell you where change is going to come, and I pray to the Lord. it's
Change is
going-
coming.
This election,
Is it the blue wave?
we can change. We can change the Senate and the House. Hallelujah! You know what? It's been proven that this is the way it goes. You know. And you know what? Stop with this. What do you call that when you give the president a free ride? There's a word term.
Pardon?
Huh?
The pardon?
No, not a pardon, but rubber stamp.
Rubber stamp.
Let's get rid of that rubber stamp. November.
Honestly, I don't think
One
that'll
hopes.
change anything.
I don't, yeah, because you know what? You have to change human nature. And hasn't this been going on? I mean,
Forever.
haven't societies
Yeah.
been mainstreamed into situations where, let's say the Jews, they separate women from men. The Muslims, they separate women from men. Why? Why did they do that? You know, this is something that's
Vaginas make the world go wild.
apparently, apparently. Well, apparently it doesn't matter. It's whatever's floating your boat. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
whatever's there, because there are situations when the women are all kept at home, so therefore the boys, have their own situations. So
I think what is going to happen is the rules are going to change.
you thinking?
I think the rules will change.
I think there should be more punishment
Yes, in what way?
for if you go false.
I think because the Harvey Weinsteins are the people at the top, the 1%ers that are now being called out,
Okay.
and they're being dethroned. Nobody ever would ever thought Bill Cosby would go to prison, right?
Right.
Like even when everybody was coming out, no one really was like, Bill's gonna get out because he has money. Bill's gonna get out because da 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 da.
Right.
He's America's dad or whatever.
Right.
That Harvey, James Franco,
James Franco.
and so on in Hollywood. Unfortunately, Hollywood starts to sway, in my opinion, way more than politics. All Taylor Swift had to do was say, go vote, and she
Right.
got 65,000 new voters in the
That's
state of
right.
Tennessee.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
But
that's
it's still up in the air whether it's on the left side or the right. Who those
Sure,
voters,
it's up in the air.
who voted.
in our break, I was thinking about harassment. Because that's where I struggle personally. I'm like, what's the line? Who determines the line? Do I determine the line? Or is there a line by some higher level that says, this is what harassment is and this is what it's not? And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, this is it. This is happening right now. This is the thing that I think people need to get thicker skin, but I could get hit right now. He could push me up against the wall right now. And I was calling you all the time, and I was like, do I report this? Should I tell HR? Like, what should I do? But I just started writing notes. I had a notebook of notes, day by day, because every day there was something else.
But I think one of your problems was should I report him? And if I do report him,
What's gonna happen to me?
What's going to happen to me?
Wow.
Yeah.
Lose my job.
Yeah.
I did the best I could to ensure that none of my group knew what I was going through. So in the off conversation that I made a face to his name, I was like, you know, they latched onto me, and I was like, oh my God, if I hadn't, they wouldn't have, and he'd have still been, and I would never said anything. So yeah, if I wouldn't have said anything, I don't know how long it would have gone on. But it's a hard thing to be a kind of leader in that force, because it's terrifying. So we just wrapped our convo and it was excellent. We hope you liked it. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow YouTube, Patreon, Instagram, Facebook. And yes, you'll see this ending a lot because who doesn't love a little consistency, and we wanted to do it one time, so let's do it.